Hello and welcome back to Pillars of Eternity. My name's Lumen and right now we're in the big city, Defiance Bay. Copperlane is our point of entry. I'm thinking we're gonna explore each and every single one of these areas, see what we can see, loot what we can loot, speak to whom we can speak. Don't know where we're gonna start. I don't know if I'm gonna explore all of Copperlane right now. I think there's some merit in just continuing on the main quest line before searching every nook and cranny of the city. At least seeing where it takes me. Because what happens if I go to the Temple of Woodika and then it sends me to the catacombs down here? Or it sends me to the expedition hall up there? I oftentimes in games like this make the mistake of ignoring the main quest.
Got it.
And I don't think I want to do it in this. Also, just one point of interest. It seems like the performance of this game has gotten really, really bad since the latest patch. I don't know why. I mean, I'm barely getting 50 FPS as it stands. And that is without even recording. The recording itself doesn't change anything. I don't know what they did. The latest patch kind of messed things up a bit. What is going on here? Of course, I just entered the city and I'm already finding a riot. Well, a potential riot. Who is this guy? Rowan. He's the guy who's supposed to show me around the city or tell me about the city. Fine. Fine, let's speak to him. Aloth is my chosen representative? Huh? Rowan's arms are crossed. His mouth is set in a grim frown as he watches the gathered protesters. He looks ready for a fight. See, that's already a mistake. He sizes you up. New in town, eh? You've picked an interesting time to visit Defiance Bay. All these refugees fleeing the frontier and finding the legacy no better in here. It's the Animancers. Magrins scorch 'em, and they nest in the city like rats. Of course, Animancer hate everywhere. You mark my words, though, us dozens, I'm gonna put a stop to it. Dozens with a capital D. They're a group, they're a thing, a movement. What are you doing out here? He gestures at the crowd, which buzzes with angry chatter. This is like the worst thing. Trying to get folk to see reason. Probably for his own devious reasons. We're in the midst of a crisis, and instead of purging the nefarious forces from our city, the Duke is granting Animancers dangerous liberties. What do you actually know about Animancy? It's the study and the manipulation of essence, which any sane person will tell you is the purview of the gods. Of course. Of course. You just don't understand it. You just don't understand it. So, by sane, he means ignorant. Well, I guess I can't say that yet, because I'm pretty ignorant about Animancers as well. We've met one thus far. Well, I actually met one and had words with one. That didn't turn out all that great, so if they're all like that, I guess there's no hope, but we'll have to see. The Aedirans, at least, had the sense to outlaw it, which is the only good thing you can say about them. It's not like magic, chanting, or the soul readings those ciphers do. It's been around since ancient Ingwithan times, which is why you'll see Animancers tinkering with old Ingwithan artifacts. Kana raises a fist to cough discreetly into it. Half-truths all. But he's an enthusiastic performer, I'll give him that. And that's all that matters. That is actually all that matters. That's how he got the crowd riled up. He shakes his head. Trouble is, the Animancers got no idea what half those artifacts actually do. Not that they'll admit it. Our empathetic friend is correct about one thing at least. Tell me about the dozens. We're an organization of interested citizens who want to free Defiance Bay from the dangerous influence of Animancers and the tyranny of the aristocrats who support them. We also consider ourselves a militia of sorts. Yes, well, that was expected, seeing as the Crucible Knights are little more than a flock of preening nobles in training these days. Just like a militia, the dozens, except for the training, and the discipline, and the code of honor. Yeah. They are just interested citizens. His eyes gleam, and we're always looking to expand. Oh, he's an ambitious one, this guy. The more people see things our way, the better for the state of the country. If you have any interest in hearing more, stop by Admeth's Den sometime. The Expedition Hall. A lot of free thinkers in there that can set straight all the nonsense the nobles and animancers want you to believe. Might even get some paid work there for motivated types. Tell me more about Defiance Bay. This is the capital of the Free Palatinate of the Deerwood. That was bad. Palatinate? Could be. I'll leave it at that. We started out as the capital of an Iderian colony, but we booted the Flaccid Scepter from these lands 150 years ago. These days, we're a major port for receiving trade and visitors from all over the world. But we, some of us anyway, strive to hold on to the pioneering spirit that earned us our freedom a century and a half ago. City is divided into 5 districts: Copperlane, First Fires, Ondra's Gift, Brackenbury, and Heritage Hall. Okay. This is going to be a lot of reading. As I said when I started recording, I knew it. I knew it. Tell me about Copperlane. This here's Copperlane. He taps his scuffed boot on the cobblestones. It's primarily a market district, but you've also got the Expedition Hall directly north of here, where you can join up treks into the wilds. Okay. That's also where my fellow dozens, martyrs and I tend to meet up with other concerned citizens. He points to a long domed building west and north of your position. That's the Hall of Revered Mysteries. Oh, revealed. Eerie place, you ask me, but they got the biggest library in the Deerwood. Here's Kana again. Chipping in. Eerie indeed. Might be less so if more kith stepped inside. Perhaps we ought to visit Lumen and see just what mysteries are revealed. Sounds like a good plan. I mean, I am not one to spend much time in libraries, but why not? Tell me about Brackenbury. A noise of disgust rattles in his throat. Nobility didn't sail back to Adir, stayed there. Most of the families there trace their lineage back to the old imperial times. Other than a lot of has-been nobility, you got the Hadrit House, where Lady Webb and her spies operate. That sounds interesting. And Brackenbury Sanitarium, the main cesspit of animancy in the city. Honesty? Sounds like an interesting area. I shall pay it a visit. Tell me about First Fires. That's where the revolution started, hence the name. These days it's overrun with politicians and panderers, but we'll take it back someday. Look at that. Wow, big plans. That's where you'll find the Ducal Palace, the Valen Embassy, and Crucible Keep. He shakes his head. The Crucible Knights were the original freedom fighters in Defiance Bay, but now they're just strutting peacocks with their eyes on fancy titles and their heads up their asses. Of course. Is that one of them standing right there? And there's another one on that side? They don't care. Because this guy is all bark. There's an old Temple of Woodikar there too. We keep it real nice for her. He winks. So First Fires is probably where I have to go before any of these other areas. Ondra's Gift. Got the name because it was a wetland that was drained back in the Imperial days. Now, it's a seedy district populated by sailors, common folk, and more than a few thugs. But it's a fun place too if you know where to look. He winks and elbows you. Don't get chummy with me, buddy. I'm probably going to kill you at some point. And the chances are I won't feel bad about it because you are just an instigator. Manipulating and brainwashing. That's all you're doing. Look for a place called the Salty Mast when you're there. Other than that, it's mostly warehouses and abandoned homes, which are usually good places for grand adventure and glorious battle. Tell me about Heritage Hill. He shivers. Used to be one of the more prestigious districts in the city. Heroes of the Revolution claimed plots up there next to an ancient Ingwithan tower and the city cemetery. Had the best views in Defiance Bay. Attracts richer types these days. A lot of animancy patrons. He spits. This guy likes spitting. Or he just dislikes a lot of things. Either way, he glances at the crowd and lowers his voice. You wouldn't have heard, but something happened over there a couple of months ago. The authorities sealed it off, and they're keeping their mouths shut, but mark my words, animancy's to blame. Never mind, let's talk about something else. Heard enough. Okay, farewell. Talk about that. Bye-bye. Man, couldn't they have thrown a couple of coins at a random voice actor, just any old fellow, and told him, read these lines? I would have done it for them. Made so many people's lives so much better if that was voice acted. The calm waters smell faintly of refuse. Great. Oh, we're gonna go in here now. The Goose and the Fox. There's actually a picture of a goose and a picture of a fox. I like it. Much nicer than Bright Hollow. It's a better name. A more adventurous name. And there are some colourful patrons in here to boot. Speaking of Bright Hollow. What's up? Finished in 20 hours. My dungeons! Man. Getting dungeons first. I don't know if that was a good idea. Actress? Okay. She has nothing to say. Welcome to the Goose and Fox. I should probably speak to the innkeeper first.
Welcome.
Thank you. The man behind the bar is nearly the size of an amawa. A handle protrudes from his back, and his face is set in a stoic frown. Gives you a small nod. Here for a drink? There's a tiny pewter cup in front of him. He turns it in one broad hand, but doesn't drink from it. It's a lively place. It was founded in the early days of the dear wooden independence by a traveling scholar named... I didn't ask for a history lesson. Errol of Levi. Okay, he wanted a place where kith of all backgrounds could gather and hash out the issues facing their new country. He rests his elbows on the polished wood of the bar. It didn't take long for the place to fill up. Brackenbury aristocrats argued with dock workers from the Gift, while soldiers wrangled with politicians. Dear Woodens have never been known to turn down an argument. What happened next? I can imagine things got interesting. Soon, kith were coming from the farms and settlements too. He waves at the door, as if expecting a crowd to bustle in. This place got even more popular with the Valen sailors than the salty mast. And that was the problem. No matter what people say about fair-mindedness and civil debate, there's only so much people will tolerate. That's true. Errol found himself on the wrong side of an argument with the wrong Thane. When he disappeared a few days later, some said it was the work of that Thane. He shrugs, spreading his hands over the bar as he surveys the room. But Errol knew which way the wind was blowing, if you ask me. He skipped town. Hid out somewhere, hoping for rational minds to prevail in Defiance Bay. If only he could see it now. Tell me about yourself. Name's Bishop, used to be a scholar of Berath. Now I run the Goose and Fox. Keep the regulars in line. And he's got a hammer strapped to his back. Okay. What more is there to tell? Interesting question. How do you go from religion to taverns? Journey isn't as long as you'd think. It started with Hollowborn. And with this. He takes a black bottle from under the bar and fills the pewter cup. Okay, so it was my sister's son. He takes a drink. And the beginning of Waidwin's legacy. He was one of the first. I never expected there would be so many after him. Tragedy is part of this cycle, but it's followed by rebirth. Yet every year more parents were grieving for their hollowborn children. And the gods were silent. So you lost your faith? He leans forward, crossing his arms on the bar. Berath promises rebirth. Cycles. But the only cycle I found was this one. Taps on the bar, have a drink, have another, and another until I couldn't remember how I got home. Wake up, come back. I finally woke up one day to see my family had packed up and left. For all I know, they'd left days before, and I just hadn't noticed. But they were gone. So I came here. Like, that's sad. Man. Cleaned up since. Not that I found my answers. I've just stopped asking those questions. Man, can't I ask him about his family? Maybe reunite them? He's got a nice establishment to his name now. Sure he could make amends. Refreshments. Do I need some more of these? How many do I have? Okay, now we got 4.
Good day to you.
Do I need a room? Look, no one's retired at the moment. Adair wants to talk.
The dozens. Pretty sure you won't find one among them who stood within 100 miles of that bridge when the Godhammer went off. Too bad, too. Then there'd be less of them.
Okay, Godhammer. Tell me about the Godhammer first. That's what they called the bomb they blew up. They blew Waidwin up with. Don't know much about it other than that. Anything kills a living god. Guess you gotta name it. It's true. Why do they call themselves the Dozens? Was 12 Dear Woodens stood outside Helget's citadel waiting for Waidwin to cross the bridge there. They had to hold him there long enough for the Godhammer to detonate. So that's what they did. And obviously they detonated with it. What do you have against the Dozens? Nothing serious. I don't have anything against... Oh, I don't have against a lot of folks anyways. The Dozens, they like to take things into their own hands. Gets ugly sometimes. We don't have them in Gilded Vale, but they'd be right at home there. They picked that name so they could do what they wanted and feel like it was right. Got nothing to do with honor or sacrifice. They like to invoke Magran too, when they especially want to feel right. Something I don't think she'd be too impressed with a lot. That lot, sorry. I'm sure she'd like to set him on fire anytime they use her name, but the gods probably got rules against that kind of thing. People hide behind symbols, so they can't be questioned. It's true. It's true. The Duke's a reasonable man. Maybe while we're in Defiance Bay we can get him to force people to call themselves what they are. Don't imagine they'd have as many members if they called themselves the Loudmouth. Yeah, okay. Let's continue on. Good idea. Seriously. Seriously. I don't think they're gonna call themselves that. Who's this?
I'll take a look.
Who's this? Kenra. A woman sits by herself, spinning something on the table in front of her and watching it with furious intensity. It's about the size of a coin, and it wobbles over a crack in the wood with a metallic rattle. She snatches it up with one hand and slams a half-empty cup down on the table with the other. This is not a good time. I can just say, as you wish, and leave. Nice. What are you doing here? Just trying to calm down. Try to talk myself out of something foolish. Like what? She says nothing for a few moments, as if hoping you'll leave. At last, Kenra looks up at you, and lamplight falls across her face. A purpling bruise is blossoming along her cheekbone. There's something I need to give my fiancé. Purnisk. I swear I saw that name on the map. Only he doesn't seem to go anywhere without his new friends. And they're not exactly pleasant company. Okay, who hit you? I know how this looks, but you don't understand. It's not like him. It's these new friends of his. They brought out the worst in him. Tell me about these new friends. They come into our house with their dead eyes and their black teeth. I'm not a fool. I know what it means. Purnisk makes me leave when they show up, but it's obvious what they come to do. Last time they came, I told them to get out. Let them have their fun somewhere in the gift. But not under my roof. She scowls, then winces, her fingertips gently probing. Okay, and then they smacked her. Svef changes you, I guess. The Purnisk I knew wouldn't have squashed a spider. Never thought he'd... She trails off, still feeling this one. Okay. Survival? Intellect? Maybe I could ask him to... maybe I could talk to him? But Swift makes people calm and listless. Shouldn't make them violent. So I know about that? Okay. I don't really know. Seemed better than believing he's always been this way. Maybe I should go talk to him. Her hand rests on the table, and she clenches it in a white-knuckled fist. There's nothing more to say to him. We've finished. I just want to give this back to him and have a clean break. Oh, it's the ring. Benevolent 2. Is that because I've got Benevolent 2? That this started now? It was his grandmother's. Even after this, I don't have the heart to sell it off. But if I go back there myself, I know what'll happen. I'll lose my temper and I'll probably wind up with another one of these. I wouldn't normally hand this off to strangers, but people say you've got a good heart. Really? They've heard about me here? If you give it back to him, he'll know we're done. Okay, I'll do it. I'll take it to him. The house is just north of here. Just, please, don't hurt him. As furious as I am, I don't want that on my conscience. Okay, it's called His Old Self. A dwarf and an Orlan debate philosophy on the other side of the curtain. And that? Painting depicts Glenfathen ruins, and the canvas bears the rough brushstrokes of a talented amateur. Okay. And in here? Yeah, this is no doubt stealing. And this? Another piece of art. A dragon is outlined in charcoal pencil. Thick jagged lines and faint smell of sulfur suggest that the artist completed the sketch in a hurry. Now, I'm going to probably go upstairs quickly to see what's up. There. And what is that? This Stelgarus pelt is thick with dust and moths. The plague below the beast... the pluck. Not the plague. I just assumed plague because of the dust and moths. Reads Maiden Falls 2682. That's, well, ferocious looking. I don't know if I want to rest. I've still got the bonus from my previous rest. So it's probably unnecessary. Scattered amongst such titles as Flora, Lands, Unity... Okay. This guy's got a name. Two-Tone Wexel.
Hail and well met.
An Orlan man relaxes with his feet propped up on the table. Patches of dark brown skin peek out from under a full mane of blue-green hair. He and the Orlan woman with him exchange laughs and comments with a trio at a nearby table, and he spins a dagger in his hand. His hazel eyes watch you. Look like you've seen a night or two in the wilds. Joining us for a drink, who are you? Name's Two-Tone Wexel, and the lady next to me is Key. We've had our fun with the expeditions, but we're hoping to enjoy a little peace and quiet. For the next few weeks, anyway. I'm Dreadshot Darren. And this is Hurdy. And... Ilfa? We're part of a separate expedition teams, but we both suffered losses and decided to band together. Okay, I see. He ticks several items off his fingers. Beasts, barbarians, biowax. It's a dangerous time to be an adventurer, but a prosperous one too. And here's to many more prosperous journeys. Okay. That's, well, interesting, I guess. Okay, I'm going to quick save here. F5. I'm going to have a peek in this chest.
I'm on the trail.
Why not?
Hat? I don't think anyone's going to have anything to say about me stealing stuff here.
Keeping an eye out.
Although, here, people can see me. So, that's a no-go. This room is empty. Pages of these old books are crisp and fragrant with the salt of a sea breeze. Okay. Nice thing is that this lockpicking actually gives experience every single time. So it's useful. Should we have a look at this? Old Valia, Southern Coast. Is that it? Yup. Again, I don't think we need to rest. We've still got a bonus from our previous rest, which is a good bonus with the mechanics and everything. So we can just leave, come back when we actually need the rest, when everyone's tired, fatigued. And for now, we can just head out. I can also disable fast mode now. The husband, the fiancé, that I need to return the ring to, is not too far from here. So maybe we'll do that immediately. It's right there.